There we go. We're recording. Hello. Welcome to Z Reviews. I'm your host, Zeospantera. These are the Meze Liric Bros, and this is our unofficial sponsor for today's video, Mr. Leather Cleaner and Conditioner. I use it on all my leather headphone pads. I'm not actually sponsored by them, but you're going to click the link in the description, and maybe I'll get a percentage if you purchase it. And it's important for today's guests. I use it in my car as well, because the Lyric ones have been top dog. Like, if you had to purchase one and you weren't modifying and you didn't want to have to deal with amplifiers and swapping around, if you just wanted to, like, see us, what is one of the best headphones you can buy? Lyric. They tickled an itch that was living inside me that I didn't know about, of this, like, luxury product from a fancy Romanian company, and it needed to be adorned in leather on not just the top and the pads, but also the back. This is leather here. And I'm kind of saddened by the change for the Meze Liric 2, because the Lyric 1 didn't even, like, get a send-off. It just sort of, like, vanished. And we're on the Lyric 2. Boom, done. Here we are. Which has still the leather and the leather pads, which are now, by the way, magnetically removable. They're glued on to those. But the backs have been changed to, like, mahogany. I think it's mahogany. We're going to double check that right now. We're not looking at that. We're not looking at this. But the Madagascar ebony. I apologize. Some peasant-ass mahogany ain't going to work for these. So they've gone with an actual wood back, with the little vent hole here, the same as there. And everything else is almost identical. Almost identical. We've got the same headband that they put together. And a lot of these, I guess the Meze is up there. The Lyrics are smaller, significantly smaller than the big, well, the Lyrics are smaller than the Empyreans or the Elites, which are like huge cups. These are like reasonable sized. Reasonable size, because they're designed, honestly, for a little bit more portability. I actually have gone shopping in these, and you don't look like a big tool because everything sort of stays against your head. There's no, like, comfort strap that raises a big bar. So they look good, not just, like, in my hand, but on my face, as much as anything on my face can considerably look good. So these are more of like a portable, smaller, closed-back offering. I didn't realize this till literally today. It was like, Meze headphones, got to open up the page, headphones, and it's like closed headphones. And there's 3 options. And 2 of them are 99s, which are they're like affordable, like $300 headphones. So you literally have a choice of nothing, a $300 Meze closeback, or their $2,000 flagship closeback. And I'm going to call it their flagship closeback because they only have one. And if you're looking for their flagship, most expensive product, that's different. But this is the best flagship closeback they make. And for them to go from one to another without any provocation, like, these haven't been out that, have they been out that long? Have they been out a hot minute? The biggest change is the sound, which we've had an experience, us together, on a previous revision of, like, the Empyrean ones, the Empyrean 2s. We're not going to talk about that, right? We're going to forget that even happened. That was a little chink in the armor. But what they've done here is they've actually actively sought out changing the sound almost dramatically. Not quite dramatically. And I've been sitting here now. I've got this one on the stock cable. I've got this one on that Effect Audio $1,000 cable I adapted to use 3.5 because, of course, the Lyrics use the best God's connector, the 3.5 into each ear cup. That's how it works. I'd love to be able to take these pads off to show you, but again, they're glued. But you can see in here that it looks like a standard Rentaro driver. There's your planar in the background, and you got all these holes in it. The new one, which I can take the thing off, has the QWERM. I'm not joking, QWRM, which stands for, and I'm going to hate myself because now I got to find it on this fucking page. Oh, is it not going to talk about the QWERM here? Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, you guys figure out what the QWRM stands for. I think this is like quarterly wavelength resonant modulator. Something like that. It's something silly like that. But it basically means they blocked part of the driver that would otherwise be available. And by doing so, they found the part of the driver that resonates just a little bit like odd and off. I'm trying to see if it actually has less holes in general. No, they know. This is the same general opening. Like it still has a top there. So obviously you could just rip off your pads or cut open this thing and tape up a hole there and block it, and you would make your own querm. Although I don't think that is quite as simple as it is. It might be. It literally might be. Maybe I could just peel this off. Can I just peel this off? Can I peel off the querm? Oh God, if I actually do this on the video. You know what? That feels like it's probably molded in. It might just be glued really hard onto that. But this is an improvement. You actually have to take the pads off. Previously, like I didn't know what to do with my again, Mr. Leather Care Cleaner and Conditioner, available in spray bottles or thing, because you can't take the pads off. And if I do, like, am I going to replace the pads? I got to clean off the glue. This is just like they come off. That said, I think these pads are softer. And I'm not sure if that's just an age and wear thing, because I have probably put 1,500 hours onto these pads, like on my actual head, which is pretty impressive for a headphone in my collection. These are a little bit stiffer. So I think it's just an age, because they don't look physically different. They still have the suede on the inside, leather, real leather outside and on the fascia. The shape of the unit hasn't changed at all. It still has the 3.5 millimeters, the wood versus leather. I know that's why you're using it to delineate between the ones and the twos, is like you don't have the leather, but I would love for the to stay leather. Or offer me different types of maybe a brighter wood to go with it, because it's a little bit... The change in sound. Let's get to the change in sound. And I'm going to try to also forget that these exist, so it's not just comparing something you've never heard to something else you've never heard. I'll try to like do this on its own. That just requires my brain to be firing on many cylinders, and I haven't had coffee in like 3 days, so just let it slowly work its way up. My original statement on the Lyrics were they were a luxury car. You put them on, they are perfect fit. You got your 3-knuckle. It's still a 3-knuckle. You got that nice linear clamp. The geometry of the headband is almost perfect. They have a little bit of a spring load here that keeps them sort of doing that. This one's been worn in a little more than this. This one's a little bit stronger spring load. Actually, it actually looks slower. Maybe it's damped too. But comfort, perfect. Like one of the most comfortable headphones on planet Earth. Congratulations. Even more so than their big ones, because I find larger cups tend to touch parts of my face I don't want touched when I'm listening to a headphone. So I actually prefer the smaller, more intimate, closer feel of the Lyric ones. Now, as far as sound goes, smooth, amp agnostic, which meant you could plug it into literally anything. In fact, I even plugged it into a tube amp and I heard no fucking difference. And that mildly stays with the new one. When the Empyrean 2 did its thing and then it started swapping, like it became an actual, like, oh, you can actually modify the sound with amplification. I got a little worried that the Lyric 2 would do that, because I don't want that. One of my bullet points that I put above all bullet points is like, hey, you can buy this $2,000 headphone, and you know what you don't need? A $4,000 fucking amp and a $2,000 DAC and $90 cables, and you don't need any of that, because the Lyric would just work. Plug it into your phone, works. Plug it into your friend's old cassette player, works. Plugs into your friend's Fio fucking cassette player, which Fio, by the way, is sending me not one, not two. I was at Can Gym, New York, which the footage should be out or it's coming out. Apologize for the lateness of that. But I asked them for all 4 colors, and they're like, well, that's not going to be ready till June. And I'm like, oh, wait. Because I'm going to make a display and put it somewhere on the wall. Because I'm not going to play a fucking cassette ever. But I want all 4 colors, and you're going to send them to me. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Easy to power, easy to run. Everything I loved about the Lyrics was there on everything. Now, the Lyric 2s. Sound differences. These are more full. I'm going to say the word forward, but that might scare some of you. I'm trying not going to scare any of you. Shh. It's like scared animals at the zoo. That's what I see when I imagine my audience and looking at they're holding their like $2,000 and they're like shaking. They're like, oh God, please. And I'm like, shh, no, okay, good. It's all right. It's okay. It's not scary. It's not a scary monster. It's not. But going from the 2 back to the 1, and the 2 back to the 1, and the 1 back to the 2, or the 2 back to the 1. I may prefer the sound of the 2. All right, calm, roll good, breathe with me. All right, we're settled. And I like it on different sources more than other sources. Not a lot. It's not a huge deal. It takes away that beautiful bullet point if you don't need fucking anything else. Like, I'm using the FX Audio DRO7, which Hi-Fi Go was like, hey, you want to collab with this? You want this to be part of your thing? You want to have like as much thing with this? And I'm like, well, let me listen to it fucking first. And it doesn't have a 4.4, so I'm using an adapter. For some reason, it has a 3.5 and a quarter inch instead of a 4.4 and a quarter inch. So I wasn't early enough adopting on the taste. But this has just like a nice softness to it. We're gonna get to the full review of the DRO7. It'll have a grand thing. Right now, it's still $1,000 in Hi-Fi Go because I don't know the price of it. I think it's gonna be under $200. But I like the way it sounds on this more than I like the way it sounds on the JDS Labs Atom 2. And those are relatively affordable things. This is super duper linear. Super duper linear, not linear. This, my topping LA90D, I love the way it sounds on that. But, and then here we come to the real, all right, what's the real reason anyone should want the Lyrics 2 Zeos versus the Lyric 1s? And again, I'll get into the sound on its own when I put them on my head and start screaming about it. And it's gonna be screaming about it. Because the thing I figured out that never concerned the Lyric 1 was the Lyric 1, you put them on your head, you played your music. You played Tchaikovsky, you played fucking Aftermath. I think I just made that band up, by the way. Look it up. Is there a band called Aftermath, and are they any good? Tchaikovsky, I want to do like Aerosmith, but I said Aftermath instead. But they were genre agnostic too. So amplifier agnostic, genre agnostic. Everything sounded good. And then I put these on, and everything still sounds good, a little bit clearer. It brings like whatever they're doing with the Quorum system is cleaning it up a bit. But then I noticed something, and this is the big bullet point, is I tended to want to hear this one louder than that one. And like you could play the original Lyric ones loud. It doesn't work. It's not for them. They are not that. You're not in a, 400-foot long Bentley trying to do 89 miles an hour around a fucking winding, turning French villa. So you just sort of chilled out and relaxed with those. These, on the other hand, because of that system, because they're blocking some frequencies and they've changed the tuning a little bit, I find myself turning them up like 4 or 5 dB more to get to do my listening. And I was going back and forth. I was doing long stints. I was lowering it down. And if I was swapping the amps, I'm like, I'm going to put this up, even though they should have the same levels. And what that means is the new Lyric 2s go hard. And I think that is kind of something I'm into. Because I was listening here to the Akiba Maid War soundtrack, which, by the way, just if you, it was there was no manga, there was no source material, it was an original anime original. Just go Akiba Maid War that shit. I don't know where the microphones are to play it to it. But I'm high gaining things, not because these need high gain. They're actually pretty efficient. Just because I'm going to push them. I'm going to push them a little bit more than I did the old Lyrics. I want more gusto behind them. Because that's when it unlocks the magic. So now we're going to talk about the sound. And right now we've got electric guitar and some drums. It's a real classy, fucking old school shit. And I want to bob my head and tap my feet, and that's what I want out of a Lyric. I'm just doing it at like 5 dB louder than I would if I switched this over. Just pull this back up, and I've got the Hi-Fi EF 500. I'll link to all the amps. All the things. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 amps in the description. See, I want to lower it. I'll lower it. It stays clearer longer. It stays unfatiguing longer. The louder you put up the Lyric 1, the worse it gets. The Lyric 2 doesn't care. And I could still listen quietly. I just choose not to. Because the Lyric 1, and I'm not necessarily like a loud listener. People will argue that I am, but man, Metal 571, shout out to him. He was the loudest listener ever until that one dude at Can Jam, which you will see the video. That dude was like astonishingly loud. Like, and it was on Susvara, and I'm like, he's gonna blow it up. It was actually on this particular amp. This exact amp. He had the Susvara like 15 out of 10. So you get a little bit more of a... Imagine the Lyric, right? With all its luxuries and all its fucking smoothness and width and bass response. But now, just give it a little cocaine. Just a little, just a small, barely a bump. And that's the Lyric 2. They are just a slightly less relaxed version of the Lyric 1s. And in the overall schema of headphones, they remain I was going to say must buy. I don't think I could say that about them. Because it's definitely now, when we're talking closed backs, it's a pretty thin market. Like it's almost, we got some ZMF closed backs, obviously. The Bokeh, I love that. That's $1,000. Is this worth twice as much as the Bokeh? I mean, for portability and looks, I'm going to say yes. For sound, I think I'd probably, if I'm just living at home and never moving with them, the Bokeh's $1,000. And this is $2,000. That being said, this is also a planar and quality on every level of it. In fact, where the hell did the box go? Should I be like opening a box? Where's the box? Is that the box? Is that the box? Where's the... You know what? You're just going to have to imagine the fire. I've had these out for a while now. I miss listening to them. So let's unplug from the DR07. And we'll go into... I'm going to leave it unbalanced. I'm going to go into the Burson there. And unpause this again. The Burson makes weird sound things happen. That's another review you're going to have to watch. I have it on my desk because I need to use it. And it's also a space heater. In fact, get the headphones away from it before they melt. But I don't think I could assess a headphone as well on a Burson because it's just fucking weird. It is pushing, like, soundstage. What just happened? Input changed? I didn't break it. You broke it. All right. Now we're working again. I'll work on the Burson in a second. I probably heard me talking. The Shix, the SHX from SMSL, which has now become, SMSL has now become, and I'm going to get to the review of that as well. I need to review this. 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 Oh my God. So many amps and DACs and headphones. I still have the goddamn Paras and the whole pile of stuff over there and the other Fios. These are glorious. All right, before I start waxing lyrical and making up fucking contradictions about cars and headphones and how it relates to your mom's first time at a sex club, is like, calm down. They're just headphones, Zeos. They're just headphones, viewership. They're expensive headphones, and you have to understand what you're buying. You're buying Meze headphones. You're buying the look, the feel, the luxury. You're buying the fact that if you get one and it's something wrong with it, like there was with my first pair of Empyreans, they will take that shit back all the way to Romania, fix it, and send it back to you. All right? You're buying that. You're not buying a set of Philips headphones. No offense to the Philips X2s or Fidelios or any of those other ones. But you're going... It's the same reason why the Meze 109s are like top tier recommendation under $1,000. Because it's like, if you don't know what you want, you get the Meze 109s. Because they embody almost everything I expect out of a luxury headphone at that price point. Well, if you don't know what to get, and your budget is twice as much, you get the Lyric 2s. Because they embody everything I expect out of a luxury headphone. Yes, they could have a little bit slightly different taste when you get into different amplifications. That's fine. As long as I don't plug it from amp A to amp B and hate it on amp B and love it on amp A. None of these amplifiers are a negative. They're all just slight, just the smallest, little less soundstage with the JDS Labs versus the SHX. The Audilic. We go to the Audilic, which loves to reset its volume knobs. And I think I went back to low gain again. Did you go back to low gain again? You bastard. You get some of that soundstage back, a little more smoothness in there, and then if I do adapt it to the burst and balance, steal this. Oh god, 69 will probably blow me up. Hold on. Oh, you're still broken, aren't you? What is your input? There's no way it changed inputs, right? Unless it did it with the remote. God, I hope it didn't break the burst. Topping LA90D. The most linear thing on the desk, probably this and this. But this has got so much power. Like, I'm at half gain. Halfway, low gain, straight up the battery, off the speaker terminals. That is a bit of power. And the headphones just take it, and they just love it. Oh, super bass, summertime. Low end is ideal. If there was an idea, like I don't do measurements, I don't really prefer measurements to use in my judgment of a headphone, but I'm sure if you measured these, it'd be flat as fuck at the low end. Because nothing about this low end is like, oh, it's exaggeratory. That's someone playing a goddamn big ass cello in a jazz band in like a live recording. That is perfect. And it's weird that they don't sound like super soundstagey. Obviously, a closed back will bring things in. They don't necessarily have to, but a lot of times it does. But it doesn't feel stuffy in there. It doesn't feel like they trap the sound in a bottle, which is what a lot of the lower end closed backs do. Is like, oh, you're getting locked in here with this. Get ready for it. And these have done an amazing job of not giving you that feeling. You want to be in there. You want to have the world go away. You don't want it to put on noise canceling headphones. You just want to close back. It's just hard to find. Look at my wall. It's filled with not closed backs. I mean, fuck, I got the Shure 1540s, which I hate, and those are closed back, but you know, I love them for their build. I got the blonde Wooga's a blonde 60s, I think are closed back, full closed back. I'm looking for full closed backs. Joker, Takstar, I mean, M40X isn't really counting. The SJY, I forget which model it is with the dragon on it. That was very decent. Very decent. Not like perfect and ideal, and I'll use it for all my everyday today, but I loved what it did at the time. But I've got like 89 to 94% more open backs. So the fact that this is a closed really is difficult because there's not much to compare it to. And especially like stuff like ZMF, where you're going to be going certainly dynamic. I mean, I guess the new one is not going to be a dynamic, but you know. And then you got Mr. Speaker's stuff, or Dan Clark, and Dan Clark's got the Aeons back there somewhere. But I also preferred the closed backs to open backs when you're doing Dan Clark stuff. So, do I love the Lyric 2s? Yes. Do I think they are a good replacement of the Lyric 1? As much as it pains me, yes. I liked the leather. I like the leather and leather, I guess. I don't want to call it plastic because that sounds cheap. What's a better word for plastic? Tell me in the comments. I like the leather, acrylic, leather, metal. Like it's just metal bits on here. Like the wood is the only like real significant visual change. I wish they had more than one option, but I'll go with it. I'll be happy. It's not mirrored either, where they would usually mirror the wood. But that's fine. The fact that you could take the pads off and change them is wonderful. Oh, the rest of the build, for those of you who didn't want to rewatch the first one. So, headband here, leather top, fabric with like a cross. It looks like something from Evangelion here. You've got these nice little tiny screws that are like Allen key, but it's so nice. All the text and everything is really small. And then these sliders. Let me just go off about these. Like they just what is the adjustability, and they can wiggle up and down like out of place, but they don't. Like, because even when you're doing this, they're a free floating entity. But yet, Grado can't seem to figure out how to make their shit better after 400 years. And then there's like this, the shape of everything is very organic, very bone structure. Looks like a cochlea. Look that up, but spell it properly. This looks like a cochlea over here. And it's got the little L and R here. They're indicated on the back. This is where I usually draw the L and R there, so it's fantastic that they're there. Although you would probably figure it out because the wires are on a severe forward rake that way. Again, dual 3.5 millimeter. The wire, I'm not sure if this is an upgraded cable they sent with mine. You got the nice little mini split here. Not sponsored by Pioneer Mini Splits this time. What is this color? It's like a dark... It's like it's the least green black ever. The most green black ever? Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with on their copper. And I love the red and blue indicators in the wire, too. You know, there's very little I have to say negative about them, which makes my job difficult because I love shitting on things all the time. And they're too expensive to just be like, oh my God, these are a game changer. Like the Fios that are $69 or were until they disappeared off the internet. So it's like, it's one of those, like, I was concerned. Are you going to mess this up, Meze? And I'm like, no, they haven't messed it up. They've changed it enough. They've changed it enough that you won't confuse it with the original, especially with the way it sounds different. With just that open, it literally opens up the sound. It's like more treble, yet they're covering more of the driver. Go figure that one out. I did notice in a sibilant song, and there are songs that are just sibilant. It's not your headphones' fault, not your amp's fault, not your DAC's fault. They're just sibilant tracks, and this is. And I was like, ooh, are these a sibilant set of headphones? Because I was listening specifically to that one, and then I put on the originals. I went, oh, I can still hear the So yeah, it's just a song. It's just a song, because I know these are not sibilant headphones. Anyway, that's the Lyric 2s. They will, now that I know they sound different on devices, you're probably going to see them quite a bit in the future, because usually these live up on my desk. In fact, these will probably stay up on my desk because they're just the shit kicker Lyric ones, man. Put them on if you just want to relax and watch a YouTube video and you can't bother other people in the house, which is rare for me. But then these will stay down here. I did promise everyone, if you followed me on the second channel, that I would do a, updated The Wall video, which I should honestly do today. And the problem is, the secret to that, and it's going to be spoiler alerts for that video when I make it, it's not what's on the wall that matters. It's what's not on the wall. It's the stuff that I leave out to test with behind the scenes or to bring out on the desk when I'm doing reviews. That's the important stuff. Because I could talk all you want about that headphone or that headphone or that headphone or that headphone. But the fact that it's not up there means it's more special than the wall. Anyway, wallpaper available in the wallpaper hoard. Mr. Leather, thank you once again, Mr. Leather, for existing. No real money has been exchanged for this. I'm just going to use an affiliate link to Amazon. So there you go. We're now auto-sponsoring our videos today. And I did actually leather clean this, even though it was new, because I was finding after the first week, there was like a white forming on the leather. And you use that, and it never happens again. It'll just never happen again. They just don't condition the leather as good as Mr. Leather Conditioner could condition the leather. Patreon and Subscribe Star, which I should pimp at the beginning of these videos, not the end, because I'm a dumbass. Support this channel. Please, help. If you really want to. For $5 a month, you get to see reviews early. You get to see IM reviews for free without any money. Just go check out the Patreon and Subscribe Star for those. Although I may start changing things, because apparently you're not supposed to let people see your videos before they go public, because any views and the rate of those views affects how the algorithm may treat your video. So if 100 patrons watch it and then I release it 2 weeks later, the algorithm's like, oh, this video is not popular, even though it doesn't understand that it was private and now it's public. It's like, it's fucking stupid. Anyway, Patreon, see reviews early. I'll figure out a way. Participate in yard sales. 1st and 10th of every month, I sell things. I don't think I'm selling the Lyric ones. Think. But yeah, other things get sold from the 1st to the 10th. A lot of times those things go to support the channel directly, or things are donated to the channel from companies so I could sell them and then use the profits from that to sponsor me going on events like Munich and Axpona, which, again, I don't know if this video is coming out before Axpona. If it is, listen to Meze in Chicago. I'll be there doing a panel on Friday on the 2024 Axpona for those of you watching from the future. And then, so see your reviews early, participate in yard sales. Lost the sound demos. I've got a sound demo of the Lyric 2s. And I may put the Lyric 1s on for like one track, although I'll have to adjust it again, just so you could hear the difference between the two of them. So yeah, lost the sound demos, all previous sound demos, all that available for $5 a month. Plus, I'm going to have a post up once a month where you guys can ask questions. And then the following month or after a week of that being open, I will answer them on a live stream or in a private video, depending on what the patrons vote on, because I'm going to do a whole thing where they're voting. $10 a month to get it in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, where you could ask me questions directly instead of waiting for a week for me to respond to you. Answer questions directly. And then you also get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. This ending thing is way too long, but I always go off on a rant. A terrible, terrible rant. Anyway, we good? I'm good. You're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you to Meze for sending this out. See you in the next one. Oh, and desk mat. See, I was linked the desk mat. It's so